Armenia is a bit of an oddball country, a landlocked republic in Western Asia. Most Westerners picture moving to Thailand, the Philippines, Paraguay, or other tropical countries when they're escaping the West. But there are plenty of random countries which are a surprisingly good option, such as Armenia. In this video, I'll tell you more about the following. First, we'll talk about Armenia in general, a little bit of background and other useful things to know about this country. Secondly, what are the requirements for moving to Armenia? Is this actually possible for foreigners? Next up are some of its advantages and disadvantages. Then I'll lay out some numbers and facts which determine Armenia's score. And finally, I'll give you my conclusion based on all the information in this video. If you like this kind of content and you want to see more of it for free, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. The more interactivity, the better, and the more videos I can provide you with. Okay, let's get started. Armenia lies in the Caucasus region and borders Azerbaijan, Turkey, Georgia, and Iran. Its capital is Yerevan, by far the most populous city in the country and the financial center of Armenia. It is located east of Eastern Europe and west of Asia. A little bit in the middle, but it is considered culturally a European nation, although thankfully not a part of Europe. That said, it is part of plenty of European organizations, such as the Council of Europe, Eurocontrol, and the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. This could end up blowing up in its face once Western Europe starts to collapse, but we'll see. It's also part of plenty of Eurasian groups, such as the Asian Development Bank and the Eurasian Economic Union. Armenia is a developing country, a unitary, multi-party, democratic nation-state with an ancient and very interesting history. Geographically speaking, you can expect a lot of steppes, rolling hills and rivers, with some forests spread across the country. Armenia lies well above sea level, at least 390 meters or 1,280 feet, and consists mostly of mountainous area. Its economy is based primarily on industrial output and mineral extraction. They created their own alphabet in 405 AD with 36 to 39 letters, and it's still being used to this day. Can foreigners easily move to Armenia? Let's see. Fortunately, moving to Armenia does not come with a lot of requirements. Citizens of many nations can stay there visa-free for up to 180 days, and others can get a visa on arrival. It's relatively hassle-free to move to Armenia and to stay there, because getting permanent residency is rather easy as well. This is one of the main reasons Armenia is so attractive to move to, or make it one of your bases. The only hard requirement of moving to Armenia is having a location-independent income. You generally do not want to work for an Armenian company, because that not only ties you too tightly to this country, you also have to pay taxes, and it limits your freedom to move around the world. Let's take a look at some of the benefits of living in Armenia. You can get a visa on arrival, or stay in the country without a visa for up to 180 days. A 1-year temporary resident card is possible, and permanent residence is a valid option as well. While Armenia is by no means a sunny tropical paradise, it does have plenty of sunshine, not many rainy days, and low humidity. In the summer, the temperature can get pretty high, but because of the low humidity and prevalent breezes, it's rather comfortable. Armenia is a tiny little country that nobody really cares much about, so you don't have to worry about terrorism. Other crime numbers are similarly low. Armenia is no Vietnam or Cambodia, but is still seeing respectable GDP growth every year. Living in Armenia isn't very expensive compared to most Western nations. If you make a decent location-independent income, you can live a comfortable life here. Currently, you can open a bank account in Armenia with interest rates of 9.5%, which is really excellent, especially compared to the 0.5% in most Western banks. Those are some significant advantages, but make sure to take these disadvantages into account as well. It depends on where you live and who you interact with, but the average level of English in Armenia is substandard. Armenia is by far the best country in the region, but that doesn't really say much if you consider it shares borders with shitholes like Iran, Azerbaijan, and Turkey. Georgia's pretty great though. While it can certainly be a good thing to live in a developing country, because you can invest and profit from the growth, not to mention the lower cost of living, this also comes with downsides such as sometimes rather lacking infrastructure, poor air quality in the capital, and so on. How does Armenia fare on my scoring system based on its climate, level of English proficiency, cost of living, taxes on international income, economic growth, safety, and the logistics of moving and staying there? Armenia's climate is surprisingly good. Sure, the average temperature isn't that high. There's plenty of sunshine, not that many rainy days, and a low humidity. Unfortunately, Armenia doesn't score well based on the average level of English proficiency of its citizens. Armenia used to be really cheap just a few short years ago, but the lockdowns seem to have really done a number on it, and the cost of living has gone up noticeably. That being said, it's still not that high. Anyone with an international income of, say, $1,500 a month can easily live here. You have to pay taxes on your international income up to 22% if you're considered a resident, which is the case if you are there at least 183 days per year. If you use Armenia just as a base to sometimes visit, you shouldn't have to pay any taxes. Armenia's GDP is growing at a very decent pace of 4.5% per year, which makes it a good idea to invest here. Armenia is really safe, with low crime rates across the board. Internationally speaking, despite having some really horrible neighbors, Armenia doesn't seem to be in any danger either. Most Westerners, with the exception of Americans, can stay here visa-free for up to 180 days, and a visa on arrival is possible. In addition, you can get a temporary resident card, up to 1 year, if you have some sort of business activity or through other means such as a familial bond. This is extendable by another year. You can get permanent residency up to 5 years if you have a business here, which is extendable by another 5 years. Citizenship is possible after 3 years of legal residence, but you do need to speak some Armenian. Dual citizenship is possible. All in all, the logistics of moving to and staying in Armenia are superb. If we take the average of all these numbers, we can see that Armenia gets a very decent 7.6 out of 10, which makes it one of the better countries you can move to, or at least set up some bases in. In conclusion, let's answer the question, how is life in Armenia for foreigners? Well, life in Armenia for foreigners can be pretty great. Armenia is a safe country with plenty of beautiful nature, friendly locals, a below average cost of living, and the possibility of permanent residency and otherwise easy logistics. The level of English proficiency is rather low, so if you were to live here full time, you'd probably need to learn Armenian, which isn't easy as they have their own alphabet. In addition, if you were to live here more than half a year per year, you'd have to pay taxes. The Armenian government would probably not know where your money comes from, so you'd be able to avoid paying taxes. But that wouldn't be legal and in the long run could interfere with your happiness, so I would strongly advise against it. It used to be really cheap to live in Armenia, but over the past year or two, cost of living has gone up significantly. It's still very doable and cheaper than Western nations, but not as great as it used to be. I would advise you to use Armenia as one of your bases. You can get permanent residency, invest, or open a bank account there. Those 9.5% interest rates are great, miles higher than any Western nation. Armenia might not be the greatest country in the world to spend all your time in, but as a base, or even multiple bases, it is 100% worth it. There we go. Hope you learned something about this interesting country. I'm curious to hear about your thoughts. Are you interested in moving to Armenia? Or have you been living there for a while and want to add something I forgot to mention? Let me know in the comments below. In any case, if you want more information about other countries you can move to, check out my website at escapingthewest.net. If you want to learn more about why the Western world is going down, how you can make sure you're protected, or if you just want to support the channel, consider checking out my new book available on Amazon. Link in the description. See you in the next video.